The wind howled outside as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an amber glow through the window of Sarah's living room. A few flickering candles illuminated the faces of her closest friends. Jake, her skeptical boyfriend. Maya, still raw from losing her younger brother. Ethan, the ever-optimistic jokester. And Lily, the tech-savvy friend who could always find a way to lighten the mood. "Can you believe it's been a year since Grandma passed?" Sarah said, her voice trembling slightly. She sat cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by memories, photos, mementos, and a few cherished items that belonged to her grandmother. "Yeah, it feels like just yesterday," Jake replied, glancing at Sarah. He knew how hard the loss had been for her, even if he struggled to show it. "I miss him every day," Maya said quietly, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "It's like there's this empty space that nothing can fill." Ethan shifted uncomfortably, sensing the somber tone. "Why don't we share some good memories? Something to celebrate them," he suggested, trying to inject some levity into the gathering. They took turns reminiscing, laughter mingling with tears. But as the night wore on, the conversation turned more serious. The weight of their grief pressed down on them like a heavy fog. "Remember when I told you about that app one found?" Lily chimed in suddenly, pulling out her phone. "Whisper. It claims to connect you with deceased loved ones." Maya's brows furrowed. "You're joking, right? Isn't that risky?" "Risky? More like intriguing." Ethan leaned in closer, excitement lighting up his eyes. "What's the worst that could happen?" Jake rolled his eyes. "I don't think summoning the dead is a great idea. It's probably just a scam." Lily brushed off Jake's skepticism. "Come on, just for fun. We could try it tonight, in their honor." Reluctantly, the group agreed. With hesitant laughter and a sense of camaraderie, they each input personal details about their deceased loved ones. Names, favorite memories, even significant dates. As the app whirred to life, a chill swept through the room. The lights flickered, causing Maya to shiver. "Is it supposed to do that?" she asked. "Probably just a glitch," Lily said, trying to mask her own unease. A notification pinged, and they gathered around to read the first message. Sarah's heart raced when she saw her grandmother's name flash on the screen. "Hello, my sweet Sarah. I miss you dearly." Silence enveloped the room, disbelief hanging heavy in the air. This was just the beginning, and as they continued, they would learn that some connections were never meant to be forged. The group spent the next hour exchanging messages, each one more chilling than the last. Maya communicated with her brother, who seemed distressed. His messages hinted at unresolved issues, leaving her shaken. "I'm worried about him," Maya confessed, her voice trembling. "He sounds scared." Ethan shrugged, trying to lighten the mood. "It's just a computer program. It's probably reading your emotions and spitting them back at you." "Still, it feels too real," Maya whispered, her eyes darting around the room as if expecting to see her brother's ghost. Sarah, still processing the message from her grandmother, hesitated. "Maybe we should stop. This doesn't feel right. Just a little longer," Lily urged, her enthusiasm infectious. "We're just getting started." They continued, their fingers trembling as they typed personal details. But with each message sent, an unsettling energy filled the room, heavy and oppressive. Suddenly, a new notification popped up. The screen displayed a message that sent chills down their spines. "You shouldn't have opened the door." "What does that even mean?" Jake asked, his earlier bravado fading. Before anyone could respond, the lights flickered violently, plunging the room into darkness. A collective gasp filled the air as they fumbled for their phones, the only sources of light. "Lily, turn it off!" Sarah shouted, panic rising in her chest. "No, I need to see," Lily insisted, her eyes glued to the screen as if transfixed. "Stop! You're not listening," Jake yelled, but it was too late. With a swift motion, Lily pressed the app again, and a voice erupted from the phone, a low, menacing whisper that echoed through the darkness. "You called me." Maya clutched her chest, her breathing quickening. "We have to stop this." Suddenly, the temperature in the room dropped, and they could see their breath clouding in the air. Shadows danced at the corners of their vision, flickering like dying candles. "Get out!" Maya screamed, scrambling to her feet. They all stood, paralyzed by fear, as the atmosphere thickened around them. The app's screen glowed ominously, displaying the words, "One must pay the price." After a frantic discussion, the group decided to delete the app, hoping to rid themselves of whatever they had unwittingly invited into their lives. But as they tried, the app wouldn't close, and the screen began to glitch, flashing distorted images of their deceased loved ones. "Why won't it close?" Jake exclaimed, panic evident in his voice. "It's like it's feeding off our fear," Lily said, her fingers trembling over the screen. Suddenly, the lights flickered again, and the whispers returned, filling the room. "You have awakened me. Now you must face your grief." Maya burst into tears, her sobs echoing in the tense silence. "This is my fault. I wanted to talk to him." "No," Ethan shouted, trying to console her. "We all wanted this. We can fix it." But it was too late. The shadows grew darker, swirling around them like a storm. One by one, they began to feel the effects of the spirit's wrath. Unexplained injuries, cold spots, and the overwhelming sensation of being watched. Jake grabbed Lily's arm, trying to shake her out of her trance. "You have to delete the app. Now!" As the app finally closed, the room went silent. The oppressive weight lifted momentarily, but the damage had been done. They felt an unsettling presence lurking just beyond their vision, waiting for the right moment to strike. Days turned into a week, but the shadows never truly left. Each friend began to experience their own form of haunting. Maya heard her brother's voice calling out to her in the dead of night, begging for help. Sarah found mementos of her grandmother in unexpected places, accompanied by unsettling messages. Ethan, once the jokester, grew increasingly paranoid, convinced someone or something was following him. And Jake, the skeptic, began to have nightmares filled with dark figures that whispered his name. One evening, they gathered at Sarah's house, the air thick with tension. "This is getting out of hand," Jake said, running a hand through his hair. "We need to talk about what's happening." Maya looked up, her eyes filled with fear. "We opened a door we can't close. I feel him. He's angry. Maybe we should go back to the app and figure out what we did wrong," Lily suggested hesitantly. "No, that's how we got into this mess," Ethan shouted, his voice laced with desperation. "We need to find a way to stop it." Frustrated, they argued, the pressure of their grief and fear bubbling to the surface. The room felt alive with their emotions, shadows creeping closer as their anger fueled the spirit lurking just beyond their reach. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the kitchen. They all froze, hearts pounding in their chests. "What was that?" Maya whispered. "Stay here," Jake commanded, moving cautiously toward the kitchen. The others followed, their breath shallow as they entered the dimly lit space. On the floor lay a shattered picture frame, the last photo of Maya's brother. The glass glimmered ominously, like shards of lost memories. "Get out," a voice boomed from the shadows, and the lights flickered violently once more, plunging them into darkness. In the chaos, they scrambled to find their phones, the only source of light in the suffocating darkness. They could hear whispers now, a cacophony of voices, angry, sorrowful, vengeful. "We have to confront it," Sarah shouted over the din. "We need to face our grief head-on." "But how?" Maya cried, tears streaming down her face. "What if it kills us? We can't let it control us any longer," Jake yelled, determination shining through his fear. "We have to acknowledge our pain." With newfound resolve, they formed a circle in the center of the kitchen, gripping each other's hands. As they closed their eyes, they began to share their memories, each heartfelt story serving as a bridge to their loved ones, a means of acceptance and closure. "I remember the time my grandma taught me to bake," Sarah started, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. "She always said that